Hello viewers, today I will be giving you some notes on preface to lyrical ballads. Let us see the main ideas of the preface to lyrical ballad. It suggests that poems are different, manner in which we associate ideas in a state of excitement, low and rustic life. Poems have a purpose, feeling more important than action. Poetry, the image of man and nature. Poetry gives pleasure. Poetry is universal. These points are the main facts that is described in this lyrical ballad or preface to lyrical ballad. Now friends, let me give you a brief idea about this. Wordsworth believed that the principal object in the poems was to choose incidents and situations from common life and to relate or describe them throughout as far as it was possible. We need to select a language that is commonly used by men. We just need to add a certain coloring of imagination whereby ordinary things are presented to the mind in an unusual way, and further we need to make these situations and incidents interesting by tracing in them the primary laws of our nature, mainly in regards to manner in which we associate ideas in a state of excitement. The simple and rustic life was generally chosen because in that condition the very essential passion of one's mind and heart find a better soil in which they attain their maturity. Those speak a plainer or more emphatic language because in that condition of life their elementary feelings coexist in a state of greater simplicity and therefore can be more accurately contemplated. Writing about the feelings, the problems, the joys and background of this rural simple countryside people with pastoral occupations are more easily comprehended and leave a permanent mark on the reader. The language too of this man is adopted, and it is purified and away from real defects. As such, man communicate with the simplest of words and simplest of objects, which is the best part of language because it has originality. Accordingly, such a language arising out of repeated experience and regular feelings is a more permanent and a far more philosophical language, which is philosophically substituted by poets who think that they are conferring honor upon themselves and their art as they separate themselves from the sympathies of common man and indulge in capricious habits of expressions in order to furnish food for fickle tastes and fickle appetites of their own creation. Wordsworth feels disgusted with the then triviality and meanness of both thought and language which some of his contemporaries had been using. In Wordsworth's opinion, he finds it to be a defect which is more dishonorable to the writer himself and his own character and style of writing. Wordsworth claims from such verses the poems in the poems will be found distinguished and at least by one mark of difference, that they serve a worthy purpose. This touches another point that Wordsworth wants to make a message or a purpose which the poem or any work of art should serve. He believes that one's writing is meaningless if it is without any purpose. The social message or a personal learning or just merely touching one's heart should be at least the ambition of a writer. For all good poetry is the spontaneous overflow of feelings, but though this be true, points to which any value can be attached were never produced on any variety of subjects, but by men who, being possessed of more than unusual organic sensibility, had also thought long and deeply. The lyrical ballads were first published in 1978, but it was only the second edition, published in 1800, that is, preface was added. Lyrical ballads consist of 23 poems, 4 by Coleridge and the rest by Wordsworth. The preface to Lyrical Ballad is regarded as a romantic manifesto wherein Wordsworth sets out the rule for a new kind of poetry and poetic theory. It declares the dawn of English Romantic movement. Wordsworth and Coleridge, with the publication of Lyrical Ballads, break away with the neoclassical tendencies in poetry. Wordsworth claims to be breaking away the artificially triviality over elaborate and contrived quality of the 18th century poetry and chanting a new course. He states that he has chosen incidents and situations from common life and described them in a simple and natural language really used by man. The subject matter of his poetry is not the rich or the powerful but humble and rustic folk. He states that the language of people who live in close communion with nature is purified from all real defects and less under influence of social vanity. He describes poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. He describes a poet as a man speaking to man, a man endued with more lively sensibility, more enthusiasm and tenderness, who has a great knowledge of human nature and a more comprehensive soul than one supposed to be common among mankind. Dr. Travin describes the different stages of Wordsworth's theory of poetic creation. The poet encounters a commonplace incidents which for reasons unknown at the time arouses peaceful feeling in his mind. At a later time, when he is away from the incidents and can see it only in his mind, the poet looks back calmly in the feelings aroused by these incidences. Suddenly his mind becomes agitated to the point that it calls forth a facsimile of the original feelings he had experienced. At this point, having provided though 3 sequences of powerful feelings, tranquil assessment, and a recreation of the powerful feelings in his mind. So this was a brief analysis of the preface to Shakespeare. If you like it, preface to Lyrical Ballads. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Thank you.